Hello. How are we all? Welcome to another Sunday Facebook Live. I'm just looking at the time. I'm actually on time. Welcome to if you're watching live, if you're watching on the replay, or if you're watching over on my YouTube channel. I'm Emma Goddard and you can find me at coastalcrafter.com. Let me just see if comments are popping up. Let's try and follow along with the comments where I can. Check the volume is down on here. I've got 2 cards. Hey Paula! Fab, I think I can see. Let me make that bigger. Hazel, Justine, thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for your order. How are we all? It's been half term here, so Joshua's just had a week off school. I was working. He's sort of done bits with my husband, bits with his grandparents, and then he came to the coffee and a card with me on the Friday, so was my super helper on Friday. It's been fairly chilled, to be honest, a couple of cinema trips. The weather's not been great, so yeah, saving time off for when it's nice sunny weather. The project I'm going to make for you this evening is a card from the Artisan Design Team blog hop. So the projects that we were all sharing this month for February was the Peaceful Poppy Suite. So if you would like some inspiration from the Peaceful Poppy Suite, then check out the blog hop. There are 16 in the Artisan team, so loads and loads of gorgeous inspiration. This was my project, so I made it's an 8-inch wreath. It's wire, copper wire underneath, and I've wrapped it in the burlap, and the burlap was in the Timeless Tropical. Is it tropical? But that's the burlap ribbon, but any burlap would work. And then this is Pretty Peacock with the white ribbon, and then just like, yeah, just all the poppy bits and pieces. And then I made a coordinating card, which was this one. And these stripes you might think are designer paper, but it's not. It's painted on. Anyone who's watched my lives before knows I love a stripe. So I thought we'd make this one, but we're going to make this in a different colourway. So that's what we're going to make this evening, but we're going to make it in the purples. And then I have got this one, which I made with the coffee and the card ladies. There was 29 of us this week, all busy making pink cakes, which was really good fun. So again, I thought I'd swap the colours up and we'll make this in a different colourway. So I'll show you how we've made that card as well. So they're the projects for this evening. Let's turn the camera over. It's a lot of it's a lot of ladies. I've yet to get Joshua was my honorary gentleman this week. Let me turn this over. So, shall we do the poppy one first, and then we can do the cake? So, this was the one that we made. Can you see the shimmer on that? That is the frost white paint mixed with the Pretty Peacock. But for this one we're going to do, and I have pre-cut on time and I've prepared cutting. I mean, like, it's all going on this evening. So let me grab my paintbrush and we'll do the stripes first so they can dry, and then we'll assemble the other bits and pieces. So for this we are going to mix up some, let's go with the Blackberry Bliss and a little bit of the I know, Joy, right? Where's the real Emma? I thought there was quite a lot of like technique tonight, so I thought, well, I'll get a few bits. I'd finished my tea earlier and I thought I might actually prepare a few bits. I know, novel. Let's see how this goes. So we'll just mix that together. Look at that shimmery, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm just gonna grab a scrap bit of paper, not totally prepared. Let me just pop this under here so that we've got a clean mat. I know, look at this. So we're just gonna add, this is shimmery white cardstock. Yeah, it is shimmery white cardstock. And we are just going to use, so I've got the thicker aqua painter and we're going to drag that across. It's about making sure that your paintbrush is wet enough but not so wet that it's all puddles, but you don't want it dry either. You want to be able to drag that across like nicely. If it's too dry, you don't get the nice flow to your stripes, and the brush will do the stripe for you as long as you push the brush down, because if you do this you're going to get a sort of a jagged stripe. You want to drag that across. There. So nice, huh? Look at that shimmery gorgeousness. And I'll just go on the edge. So I'm going to set that to one side to dry. Just looks like it is, but I've gone a bit wobbly in the middle, but I don't think it'll matter because we're going to cover that with the poppies. But there you go. So we're going to set that to one side. And then we're going to use a white. It's a really nice technique, Paula. And I've done it quite a lot. I've done it with navies, I've done it with pale pink. But yeah, I do love a stripe. And if you don't have that in a designer paper that you want, it's a good way to make up your backgrounds. You are so right. Chandra says everything is better with a little shimmer. Too true. Right, let's put so we're going to layer that. I might need to just dry the stripes. I kind of need them actually. I thought I was going to be able to leave it to one side to dry, but I'm being impatient. I wonder if, so Paula says she used the blends. I wonder if you use the blends, then I wonder if you had a play of the blends and then painted across the top with just the white, how much of the blend would then still show through, and if you'd still get that kind of shimmer. I'm sure you would. Maybe just a different look. Let's layer this. So this is the same size. I've cut this to the same size cardstock. So we're just going to twist it slightly so that we've got little bits peeking out from the side. You're so lovely, Kim. Thank you. Hello, my lovely friend. Right, let me put this on here. So we'll just twist that. And then pop that on there as well. You can go slightly over the edges, you just don't want to go over the bottom, otherwise it will be difficult to stand up. So good with putting that on there. And then this is from, all of these die cuts are from the Poppy dies. So, oh, I'm glad they're still going. Has that been over a week? It has, yeah, because it was last weekend. That's amazing. So all of these dies are from that. So let me grab the, I want the happy birthday. So this is from the Peaceful Moment. So I've used a happy birthday in there, but there's thank yous, with deepest sympathy, congratulations. There's loads of useful sentiments in there. We're gonna stamp in the Blackberry Bliss. I've gone to the right hand side because it's just going to tuck in to the poppies and bits that we're going to layer on here. So I've cut one of these in vellum and one in the Blackberry Bliss. And normally I wouldn't glue vellum layers together because you can sort of see the splodgy glue through, but that's going to be covered with the poppy, so it doesn't matter. And we're going to pop that on there. And then this is where we can then layer the poppies. So I've cut one in white and one in the designer series paper, also from the Poppy Suite. And we're just going to layer them together. I'm only gluing the middle because actually I really like the fact that the layers lift a little bit. You don't get splodgy edges and you've got some lift and texture from that. I have then die cut somewhere. Where have they gone? There they are, hiding. Some little middles. So this is Purple Posy. Highland Heather would work well. I've just done a lighter shade of purple. So that's the centre bit. And then for this, I'm going to pop it up. So move it in a bit. Can we see that okay? I'll put a couple of dimensions. It's pretty in the purple, isn't it? So I think kind of picking colours and things, I've started with the starting point for this card was the designer series paper. So when I made this one, the starting point was this designer series paper. That's the poppy paper. And then the card kind of came from that. So the same with this. This is the Blackberry Bliss. And then there's a lighter purple accents in the dot, and that's where the colours then sort of come from. So I have the poppy to the side, and then I'm just going to tuck in some leaves. So again, I've die cut these leaves from the designer paper, and you could use as many of these as you wanted, or as few as you wanted. And that's the purple posy. It's gorgeous in the purples, isn't it? Yeah, Liz, I think that Stampin' Up give us so many gorgeous colours in the designer paper. Actually, we all go, ooh, all the pretty paper. And actually, it's just such a great starting point for projects. Or like if you've seen like a really beautiful colour in the, say, poppy paper, but then you could then use that colourway with like the bees or something like that. It's still a good starting point because the colours work well together because the papers have already kind of been designed for us. So I'm going to trim that down and pop that in there. And then this, so I'm covering up a lot of that vellum circle, but that's okay because you still see a touch of it. I've just trimmed that because it wasn't going in far enough behind there. And I'll just tuck in. And again, I haven't worried about sticking that down, but if you wanted to, you could pop a dimensional behind just to make sure that that was really gonna stay in place. And then we could put some middles. So shall we go, I did silver. I did the silver ones, and so I thought the gold looks really pretty with the purple. Deanne says, which die did I use for the happy birthday? So that was from the poppies. So, painted poppies. And it was this one here. So that's the die. There is a bigger label one, but that's the die for the happy birthday. And that swirly one is the swirly one behind. And then I have been a little bit naughty with this one because I've basically used all the dies from the other set as well. So that flower, those leaves, and that outline flower. So that's a whole set, but look how many dies you get in that. There's just so many, all the leaves and everything. Ah, you're welcome. So what about putting some champagne? So on the other one I did some sort of clear accents, but I'm thinking these are the lovely champagne. There. Where's that gone? Oh well, I'll find that later. There we go. Ta-da! Yeah, poor Kim took a tumble the other week. Right, that is that card. I love it in the purple. You could make a beautiful set, couldn't you? I don't think, if I had to choose, I don't know which one I'd choose now. Tricky, tricky. There you go. Right, on with the cake. So let's I think that's dry, but I'm just going to turn the mat over just in case. My cough from my gut seems to be lingering. I'm definitely much better, but I've definitely got a lingery kind of cough. Right, this one, have you seen the lily papers? So these are the lily papers that are free with Celebration, and they're super busy, but like paintings. But on the other side, I love this, like, it is like a canvas that's like swooshed paint, and like this purple and coral, and there was a pink one, but I've used it all. And so I thought I would then do the colours for the cake in this blue. So this is the one that I'm going to do. So I'm going to do the Bermuda Bay. And again, I started with the papers. So I started with the pink papers from the Celebration. And in this case, I'm starting with the Bermuda Bay. Oh, Kim says, oh, I'm using the cake for Card and a Cuppa. I have to see. You have to share what you've made tomorrow. I'll be stalking your blog. Right. Bermuda Bay. So let me do a layer for the card front. So just kind of done a standard layer. So that is 10.2 by 14.5. And then I'm going to do something a little bit less than that. 14 by 9.7. Yes, it made my head hurt a little bit. You think I'd get used to those measurements? Right. This one here, we are then going to use the poppies for the splatters. So I've just shoved them to one. Oh, there they are. So in the Peaceful Painted Poppies, there is this splatter here and this one here. So useful. They're a bit like, if you have loved Stampin' Up products as long as I have, they're a bit gorgeous grunge. But it's always useful to have a splodge or splatters in your stash. Right, Bermuda Bay. Kim says I can't stop looking at those splats. And in the bright colours as well, they're like pow. Right. This one. Oh, they look good in this as well. I like just paint splatters. So just twisting this around a little bit as well. Oh, Justine, what were you making? Been on your sewing machine. Right, this one. I'm just going to layer that up. You might think, oh, it looks a bit, but once the cake's over the top, I promise it all kind of comes together. So now we've got the splats and the splodges on the background. We're going to stamp the cake. Oh, Justine's making reusable face wipe pads. I will message you out. I'm definitely interested in getting some of them. Right. Stamparatus. So, let me move you up a little bit more. Okay. So I have made a template and I've die cut these. So, obviously you could, I've just read Paula's comment. You could just stamp this twice and then go and cut it out from your machine. However, if you were doing multiples of these, this is a good way to do the multiples. So you die cut that out and it gives you this template. And then you line up your stamp. And like I say, if you're just doing the one, this is definitely the longer way to do this. If you're making lots and lots, this is a quicker way. I've just moved that again. This is a quicker way, and this is what we did at Coffee and a Card. We had these lined up so that everyone had their piece of white blank, and they just slotted that into the Stamparatus. So when I've stopped faffing around with that, tucked into the corner, and then pop a magnet on just to keep that in place, and then this will then slot in like a puzzle piece. Oh, look at that. See, inky fingers. Right, just gonna grab my chamois. That was a proper mess. Hang on. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's not too bad. It's come off a reasonable amount. Not too bad. Just looks like I've been having a nice time. Right. The flowers are the main bit for this. So, that doesn't look like it's lined up. Nah, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. We can always do another one. No, completely not lined up. Don't know what I've done. No, like ink everywhere. Right, let me try that again. I'm going to die cut another piece, or I could just stamp it and then cut it out. That would be much easier for the purposes of this, but you get the idea. Had I not dropped the stamp, it would have been in place. Right, let me pop that through. So let me just run that through the machine. The cake one will work, I'm sure. We managed 29 of them on Friday. Ta-da! There we go. What was I to say? It was a sticker under your ink that gave it away. Yes, exactly. It's mine. In case you didn't know. All right, let's do font size 57. Right, that is definitely lined up because I can feel that that's lined up. Put the magnet in, then we pick it up, and we don't drop the ink pad. Then we'll slot that in. Just like that. That's how it should have happened. And then you can just keep placing your pieces in, so that would then give you Lots and lots of those. And then we want the cake on a piece of this lovely patterned paper. So just take a little chop of that. And we're only worried about the flowers, so just need to make sure the flowers are on the paper. Like that. And let's move you in a little bit. So it's quite dark on the dark paper, but it will all come together. So I'm not sure if the green leaves, I'll think about that. So we're just going to cut out the flowers and piece these back onto the top. And this gives a lovely texture because the paper has got the texture in it. So the paper really does do all the hard work. And it's a really, I'd say it's a quick way to colour. It's a quick-ish way to colour because you've still got to cut the pieces out. But you could do this with polka dot paper or all sorts. Joy says, some fussy cutting. So can you see how that's going to piece back over the top of those? And the same for this one. So I'm not cutting out the leaves because I am going to colour the leaves on this centre piece. So I'm using all 3 layers. Tina says I've been practising my fussy cutting. See, when you get the knack of it with the scissors and you can kind of get that, you get sort of comfortable with the scissors, it genuinely is relaxing. I know some people will be like on here going, no, it is not. But I do enjoy a bit of fussy cutting. Right. There's those. And then shall we colour? That's going to layer onto there. No, I think we'll stick with the granny apple. So we've got granny apple green and crumb cake for the cake. So with the cake, I'm just going to put some shading. I'm not going to colour the whole cake. I'm just going to add some of the shading where the lines are. Just so it doesn't look too heavy. I'm just going to follow the outline. Like so. And then the leaves, I'm not going to colour the leaves on this one because it's going to be covered up. But I'm going to colour the leaves on this one. And I'm just putting a touch of the dark. And then we'll shade those out. I'm leaving a little bit of white as well. And nearly there. And then have we got, yes. So with the Bermuda Bay blend, I am just going to colour some of the buds. I forgot my pink pen on Friday. So we had white buds. They hadn't got their colour yet. That was my one thing I forgot. You've always got to forget something, haven't you? Right. I'm going to pop these up on dimensions. Pam says, what colour is the other card? This card? And pop that onto there. Yeah, it is melon mambo on the background, but I would say that the flowers are more lovely lipstick. And it's a lovely lipstick matte layer. So, and I just started with the DSP, so the designer series paper from the Lilies. And that was the colour I kind of started with. So I'm going to pop these up. So we've got dimension on dimension on dimension. And then we're going to chop the stand off because that isn't fully covered when you put this die in. So I'm going to take that bit away. This is then the die that comes, the coordinating die, and you get a fancy cake stand. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the edge. It's not loads to hold it, but enough. And then on this part, we're going to have some more dimensionals. And I'm going to go over the seam just to make sure that that definitely holds. Connie says, could you say where the splotches came from? Of course, it is from the Painted Poppies set. So they're in this one. So you may have this already because you thought, oh, those flowers are really pretty, but maybe overlooked how fab those splotches are. So I love it that in sets they've got maybe like the flowers and things like that, and then they give you like these extra pieces. We've taken that one off already. So then can you see where we've got the splotches just kind of coming out from behind? What maybe you thought, not sure that that looks that great. Then when that goes over the top, just brings it all together. Ta-da! Michelle says you can never have too many dimensionals. Exactly. Right, let's put some. Ooh, in the Noble Peacock rhinestones, there is Bermuda Bay. That's all right, Noelle. You're forgiven. I like Ed Sheeran anyway. Right, let's try and pop this up properly. I wasn't pulling the backings up when I did that. Oh, so these are in the annual catalogue, and they are the I'm not sure the light does it justice on this video, but the Bermuda Bay looks gorgeous, or it's peacock, I'm not sure. Right, one last bit of fussy cutting because we've got a sentiment to go on here. So the happy birthday, and yes, it is fussy cut. Some of the ladies chose to put their happy birthday inside the card and just looked at me like, are you crazy? That I'm not cutting that out. Other people decided to give it a go. and other people just stuck it on the front of their card. But, you know, it's each to their own. There is definitely no right or wrong, and I wouldn't make people fussy cut the sentiment if they didn't want to. Promise. Right, let's do this in black. I love the script on this. Oh, that's a bit juicy. Got a new memento. And it is a bit... Let's try again. Better. That was just a bit... inky. Liz says some people got them to cut it out for them. I don't know what you mean. I heard a little rumour that you may have had to cut out too. Because we're all lovely to each other. Right, let's put... This is like proper hardcore fussy cutting, isn't it? It is quite fiddly. It's not the easiest shape to go round. And I can understand that people might think, oh, they'd look a bit jaggedy, or I'm not really keen on it looking like that, so that's fine. But I like that you can kind of separate the sentiment out by doing this. You don't have to have the long words. Right. I'm just going to cut in there a bit more. Like that. And then we can tuck that in there. I am going to use a couple of mini dimensionals. If I can fit that. So I'm just going to cut a slither of the mini dimensional edge, because that then gives a straight bit there. And then a little bit of glue and the tiniest bit of glue on there. Oh, get off my finger. And kind of rest on there and then lift up on that side. And then the happy birthday. The happy part of the birthday. And you could alternatively cut your stamp in half and then layer them one on top of the other when you stamp. And you could use something like we used on the first card. You could use more of like a label punch or die or a circle. So that'll then tuck in there, and again I'm just going to put a mini dimensional on the overhanging part and glue on the part that will stick in here. In fact, I'll need to double dimensional that because it's not quite high enough. Yes. Michelle says masking a half of the sentiment could work too. It would work, yes. If you wanted to layer them in a different way. Narelle says the horror of cutting us up. I know, like, my shocked hands. I think this one could cut quite nicely. Shall I do that, or would you be traumatized? I might leave it, but it would cut through there. It would cut through there quite nicely. It would just cut there. I'm gonna leave that one for today. I won't traumatize you. Right, let's layer this up. Right. Took me about 8.5, nearly 9 years, I think, to cut my first stamp. I was just building up to it slowly. I think it was just one I thought, I'm gonna use it more. If I cut it apart, I'm gonna use it more. This makes sense to cut it. Yeah. This is just not, it's not proper. Just behave, right? Something should just not be done. The stamp should be left alone. Right, let's put this on the front. And we are done did. So that one is the Bermuda Bay. Esther says, do I cut them? Not really. No, I wouldn't say I've got like multiple stamps that are pulled apart. However, like this one is so sentimental, and the I can't thank you enough. I knew I would use the thank you on its own loads. So I can't thank you enough. It's still, the way you cut it, you can still stamp it as one because that fits around a die. And you would just put all of those 3 pieces on your block. But I would cut that and get more use out of it. Yeah, look away, Narelle. Look away. But like, I haven't chopped up my whole set or anything. They are in one piece. It's only when I know that I'm going to use one thing, like loads more, if I cut it apart. There we go. Right. Thank you so much to everyone for joining and commenting, and thank you to everyone who's going to be watching on the replay. I keep an eye on comments, and I will kind of check in and reply to you when I get a chance. I am going to be uploading these onto YouTube as well. So if you're watching on YouTube on the replay, thank you. I am working really hard to get 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So if any of you lovely people wouldn't mind popping over and giving me a subscribe, I would super appreciate that. It will just give me the opportunity to do some YouTube lives as well as my Facebook lives. But yeah, so that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back next Sunday evening, and I will try and pop extra photos of these up on my Facebook page throughout the week. It'll probably be Friday now, but yes. So right, I will see you all soon. Thank you for the love hearts. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.